poppin', B? Purpok here, and welcome back to another episode of Race the Ramen, the show where I attempt to review something unscripted in the amount of time it takes to boil an instant ramen. And today we'll be taking a look at 9 Days, playing now in select theaters. Alright, we're going to start the timer right now. Okay, so 9 days. Please excuse me wiping the goo from my eye. This is an interesting movie. I'm kind of making this video at a weird time, I guess, because as I make it, it's already seeming to leave a lot of theaters. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be there. And it's already been only playing at select theaters, so it's going to be hard to find this one, but if you can, I absolutely recommend it. I think that 9 Days may be the best movie I have seen all year so far. And I've seen a couple decent ones this year. I've seen Pig, Mitchell's vs. the Machines, Bo Burnham's Inside, all pretty decent. But this was fantastic. 9 Days is kind of just like this amazing balancing act of a movie. It's a first-time director with quite a lot of big names attached and like Sony Pictures classics behind it. Quite a bit of like money too, $10 million budget, all that. But I've seen like no press for it, nothing like that, which is a shame. Because this movie's, again, this is great. In 9 Days, basically, it's a sort of, the setup is you are watching this man named Will, who is essentially a sort of career counselor for a state of life before life on Earth. He interviews souls who are essentially full people as they would be in life, and sees if they qualify for an open position to live a full life on Earth, where they will be as they are, but they will not remember him. It starts off, and you think it's going to be a story about the candidates themselves, who are interviewing for this position. But it more so becomes a sort of character study of Will himself and the people around him, and they kind of feed back into each other in the way that the script is structured. That's the biggest thing to take away from this. This movie has an amazing script. Tons of really great callbacks and interwoven character arcs and stuff like that. And tons of great performances. Again, there's a lot of famous people in this movie. I can't list them all here. But the two main people are Winston Duke, who was the dad from Us. I mean, I thought he was pretty good in that movie. He gives like a tour de force, emotional, full-range performance here. And next you have Zazie Beetz, who some of you might recognize as the girlfriend from Joker, or Domino from Deadpool 2. She's great in this movie, too. Pretty much everyone's great. But those two are what really carries it for me. That and all the... This is a highly emotional movie. You might just cry. It's a discussion on, like, life in general. I mean, it's a movie about souls. Yeah, you might expect that. I know I'm going all over the place here, but it's difficult to discuss this movie without going into a lot of, detail about themes and the complexity of the plot. So you know what I'm going to say? I won't spoil it. See it for yourself. It's great. I know I say this every time I do an episode, but really, hopefully that gave you a decent idea of what I think of the movie, because there's a lot I could say. But the best thing I can do in this situation is basically just say, 9 Days is a 10 out of 10. I mean that. It's a fantastic movie. Best movie I've seen all year so far. And if you have the chance, you should go see it. If you like a good drama, you like a discussion on life and its many different facets and how vast of an experience it is for different people, you're going to love this. It's basically Pixar's Soul, but for grown-ups. How much simpler can I put it? Go see 9 Days.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And today we'll be taking a look at Lake Michigan Monster. Streaming now on Tubi, Arrow Video, and available also on Blu-ray. Alright, we're going to start the timer right now. Okay, so, Lake Michigan Monster. This is an interesting movie. After talking about 9 Days, which was, a heavy, dramatic, philosophical, much more serious sort of thing, let's balance things out with a good comedy. And Lake Michigan Monster is a very, good comedy. I think, dare I say, it might be the next great parody film. It's in the same line as something like Airplane or Hot Shots, one of those like over-the-top Zucker Brothers sort of things. But imagine that on a micro budget, with like almost no means of creating a movie at all. The director, this is his first movie. From what I understand, he was like a pizza delivery guy before he made this. Just some guy in Milwaukee with a couple of friends who were doubling as crew and actors on this whole thing. And somehow, he managed to make an incredibly creative, enjoyable, downright great comedy with next to nothing, and no one's really talking about it, so here I am. The best way I can describe it is, imagine a farcical airplane-style parody of something like The Creature from the Black Lagoon, with the comedic style and budget of a Scott the Woz video, directed by Sam Raimi. If that makes any sense to you and also sounds enjoyable, then you're gonna have to check this out. It's shot in black and white to mirror a lot of those comedic rubber suit monster movies of the 50s. It's got an overblown dramatic soundtrack. The editing is done kind of sloppily on purpose at times, with like frames holding longer on things than they should. Kind of like Black Dynamite, where like part of the joke of the movie is that it's supposed to look like an old crappy movie that's barely holding together. But it's never done at the expense of like the immersion of the experience, because it's clearly cheap. They have like cardboard props, and sometimes they film in classrooms at schools and stuff like that. But they use those opportunities to tell clever jokes as well, and actually tie that into the plot at certain points. Because this movie does have a story, a decent story even, but its main focus is telling jokes and being funny. So that's mostly what you're getting all the time, but at the same time, if you're paying attention, there's stuff you can appreciate on rewatches, jokes you might not notice, and connections between characters that make the whole thing more enjoyable. It's a surprisingly intricate, very creative movie, considering it's got almost no money and like no recognizable names behind it. It's so weird. It's like this movie came out in 2018 and only got a wide release last year, and I'm hearing about it now. No one has heard about it. I think that's a shame. I think Lake Michigan Monster is a fantastic comedy movie. You might even love it if you give it a shot. So get some friends, get some drinks, and give it a shot, because Lake Michigan Monster is pretty great. Hopefully that gave you a decent impression of what I think of the movie. And I wouldn't call it perfect, but I'm eager to watch it many more times. I've seen it twice already. I watched it with my girlfriend and my brother, and I cannot wait to show it to as many friends as I can. It's one of those movies. But whatever the case, great movie. I'd give it a really solid 9 out of 10. This might actually be one of my new favorite comedies. And also, going back to 9 Days for a second, that might also be one of my new favorite movies. I know we're still talking about Lake Michigan Monster, but this is both in one video, so whatever. Yeah, Lake Michigan Monster, 9 Days, 10. Go see both of these movies if you can. They're great. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the Slurpy Seconds experiment. I'm going to see if this can, be a good way to get more than one topic into one video and see how it works. Is it working?